What is going on, everybody? This is Roster of the Brooklyn Misfits. And of course, I'm always joined with my wonderful co host, CW.
Yeah.
Mr. Dead over there from the 4th of July. Um, and today we're joined with someone who's been nominated for multiple awards, who's done so much in this industry in the small time that he's been in. He's been like you could like find his content on Black uh Tushy Brazzers. He was 2017 Urban Next Male Performer of the Year. He was 2019 X-Biz Male Performer of the Year. He was he's 2019 Best Sex Scene. I mean for X-Biz, and like he's been in so much stuff. And without further ado, Mr. Isiah Maxwell.
What up? What up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
So I met Mr. Maxwell when he was starting off, because he came in, he would immediately say this. He came in as a talent agent, right?
Yes, I came in as a little intern.
Came in as a little intern, and now he's, just doing everything. I mean,
Yeah.
like from what I hear, everybody, like all the females, really look forward to doing a little thing with Mr. Isiah over here. So, for all those out there who don't know who you are, please
Right.
tell the world who's Isiah.
Well, Isaiah is the young boy from Cleveland that moved to LA and became an adult star. I, I started off as an intern in the industry, and
Mhm.
I was working at Burger King at the time, and like that was my main job, and so like I had to keep my priorities straight at the time. But afterwards, I was able to let go of Burger King and make the transition over here and start working as an agent. And then that's when it started taking off for me because I started building connections and I had models to go to parties and events with, and I was able to throw some myself. And then about 2 years later of being in the industry, I jumped in front of the camera. And then like the rest is kind of just like ongoing history. It's
Yeah.
just I just took off after a couple of years of getting my footing down and getting my rhythm going and everything like that. And
Mhm.
now I work for just about everybody in the industry that have booked me.
I mean, yeah, because I know you're in like high demand because everywhere I look is like new scene. Isiah Maxwell. Yeah,
Well,
no, yeah,
I
like
feel like I get paid for my responsibility, man. It's just I show up to set on time. I don't do anything. Most of the competition is like 80% of beating our competition is showing up on time. And
exactly.
so I do that. I just
And having working equipment. So
yeah, true that. I really enjoy the people that I work with. So like I feel like sex is a real passion of mine, and that I I work towards the art of it, like more so of like I respect what sex is, not just trying to have sex with everybody that's just walking around. It's
I
like
respect that.
like a big responsibility that goes along
It's an
with it.
art.
Yeah, and if people take you serious enough, they'll want to keep you on their set, be pleasant to be around, treat the women equally, and even just making sure that they feel like they're number one, and make sure the director feel like he's putting out a product that he could be proud of, and he's straight to go.
That's that's a great way of looking at it because everybody doesn't take don't do not take the time and effort to be more than just showing up to have sex. You know.
Right. Like that comes with the job, but yeah, you want to make sure you get enough rest the night before or eat right so you don't that you come to set tasting fresh at the end of your scenes and
Yeah,
smelling fresh before you go to your scenes and stuff like that. Taking a shower, hygiene is important and stuff like that. So it's just like, I buy scented lotions and like, try to have the girl sits and smell and taste just on point for that day.
Yeah, I've heard performer like this is just random conversations I had with female performers of them just talking about the aftertaste of some performers they've worked with that they just their their semen just didn't taste right to them while they were doing the scene, and it's kind of like a bad look for that performer. So I can see ensuring that you drink the right stuff or eat the right stuff, that it doesn't tarnish their view on you, because if they don't want to work with you, in the day they're going to tell their friends not to work with you
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
There's a bunch of adult entertainers and sex workers in the world in general, like across the states. There's
Yeah.
just swinger clubs. There's people that just get togethers and like OnlyFans, camp shows, strippers, adult entertainers in general. But the porn community itself is a very small community. So
Mhm.
it's like it don't take much to get around fast of like your name and stuff like that. You could just meet three people and then the rest of the community could be like, have you heard of this person? And you're like, yeah, let me. So leaving a lasting impression and making sure that they feel welcome when they saw you is always a good wildfire spread across the community to get your name through. But if you're on the other side of that, where it's like your smell and taste isn't that great, then yeah, it's going to be pushed out that like you could work with that performer, but just be prepared to like, have your nose covered, whatever.
Oh.
You hear it all the time, but yeah.
I've heard some stories about. I'm definitely not gonna say names, but I've heard horror stories about some performers that people just tell me, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, man, it's wild sometimes. People see the final product. So,
Yeah.
like they get the DVD and they see like all the edited stuff of us just having a good time and us just like having great sex. But
Yeah.
the process of putting that together sometimes,
Yeah, they
the
don't.
smell of the set, the leaks and stuff like that, like an anal scene where, it could be a messy day.
Oh,
And and then it's just like the smell, like the weather that day could be extremely. You could be in a warehouse where there's no air conditioning and it's like over 100 degrees in there and you're just sweating and
And it's even worse because like you guys are in front of the lights,
yeah,
which adds at least like 10 degrees.
it's heat.
So if it's 100 degrees outside, 110 degrees outside, being in California or even in Vegas, and it's
Yeah,
not ventilated, that's like 120 degrees. Y'all trying to have sex in,
oh, I still have to fuck.
and and then you have the sex heat, so that's an extra 5 degrees.
that's why you'll have those stories of guys having trouble popping at the end of those type of days. And I tell the director, I was like, well, you got to understand if your body is overheated too hot, then you can't come. Your body needs to be at a certain temperature for you to come, and your body can't be overheated. So, like, if you see a guy that took too much Viagra and at the end of the scene he's turning bright red and he's sweating at the end, just jacking off trying to come, that's because his body is overheated and he can't do it. So, recommend tell the guy to sit in front of a fan, cool it down, and like let your heartbeat calm down and get yourself together.
I never knew that. I never knew. Oh, I never knew that you needed to be a certain temperature to come.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
If your body overheats too much, and that's why most guys start having trouble popping because it's just you're too hot to come. So it's like cool down, like temperature matters. And so if I'm in Vegas and they want me to shoot in like 110, 120 degrees house, I'll be like, can't be done. It's just that's torture. It's like you don't gotta torture yourself to get a scene. It's just like you gotta find a better location. And sometimes people can fight through it, and I'm sure I can pop, but it's not a good
It's
time.
just a principle because like, and then you also got to worry about like makeup for the female, or whatever, because
Absolutely. I was on.
she has to look good throughout the entire thing, unless she's getting nutted on, and then that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter then, but for the entire scene, she has to look a certain way.
It's like a double-edged sword. Like you get when you see the final product, you see two sweaty performers, and their body are all glistening and stuff like that. Makes
Mm-hmm.
it look hotter. But on the other side of that, I was in the warehouse one time working with a performer in a gangbang situation, and it was so hot from all of us just fucking that her her wig started to melt off. The glue that was
Oh
holding her
wow.
wig down was starting to come off, and she was almost not able to complete the scene because she didn't want to do the scene with her hair that she brought falling off.
Yeah.
So it was like we had to take breaks and let the glue settle back in, and like it was just a hot day, and there was guys there that had issues coming. So it's just like you can't get the perfect setting at all times. You got to be a performer, and like that's where the performer term comes into play is when it's not a perfect setting. Like if you're in a perfect setting, you can have great sex, and yeah, you'll show boat and like you can do your thing and everything like that. You're on a nice bed. The air conditioner is very low, so you can keep it on. Um, the crew is not that big, so there's not that much tension on set, and you can do your thing. But if it's the opposite, then you're gonna come across all these issues where it's just like people become subconscious. Um, you never know how the product is gonna look because of the weather might irritate the girl, same vice versa with the guy. Just that's when like, or you don't got no chemistry with the girl, so you got to set aside your love for sex and perform it out because you still got to pretend that you like the girl. You still got to pretend that you're into the girl or into the scene or whatever you're doing. You got to be a character, and that's the performance side of the business.
See, and that's why I tell some people that like if like I was a performer, there are some people out here, some females out there that I believe are very, very, very tremendously beautiful. But there's a lot of people in the industry that I know personally I wouldn't be attracted to. And it's like I know for me, it will be harder for me to be ready to do a scene with, that person because it's like I need that a little bit of attraction to that person in order to say, okay, I'm ready to go, and then constantly stay there throughout the entire time because you're still looking at the person the entire time, and if you're not into it, it's just like you're just going with the motion, you know.
It can get real sometimes, but that's when like those mental tricks come in handy. Like I'm a body guy, so I like tits and ass. So if like the girl got like a face that is considered average, then sometimes her body is what brought her to set. It's
Mm-hmm.
like she might got the type of body that is like porn watchable or porn enjoyable. And and so I could get off to that. I could get off to girls just having pretty feet. And the reason why is because I compare it to the feet that I saw that wasn't pretty. I'm not a big foot guy, but if I need something to get me over the hump where it's like I've done worse, then that is what could propel me to continue to do a scene. Because I'm always like, like Isaiah, you fuck worse. Like it's cool. Like we're good with this. Like if this is what we consider bad, I'll take this any day. Because I remember before porn and how it was and stuff like that. So it was just like it's like I get it, but like it's like it could always be worse. At the end of the day, I'm still having sex with a girl that is into having sex with me at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
that's like that's one of the chases of life that we are in. So it takes a chase out of life from.
See, the thing is, like, I'm so like I always say this. I'm so anti feet, so that wouldn't be my go to, because like I'm very, very,
I'm
I'm really,
not.
I'm scared of feet. I'm podophobic, so it's like I couldn't, like that would be the last thing I had to look at, because
So
that would just
look,
make it
man.
worse for me.
My, one of my sayings is this, man. If I was stuck in a room and you played me only country music, and you just played everybody's tracks and stuff like that. Like I don't listen to country, I don't intend to. But if you put me in a room with nothing but country music, I can find a track or two of something I like there. So if you look at enough feet, you'll finally be like, I saw 100 feet. Like, yeah, I don't like them, but I mean, if I had that one and that one would be good, like it's just it's a numbers game. So it's it's plenty of things you could go off of. I mean, you could go off a girl just having good skin. You could go off a girl having her hair on point. It's just like you'll find the little things instead of looking for the total package to be 100% on point.
Okay. Well, since I can ask you this, and this is since you've been around for a little while, what is a few of your favorite scenes you shot so far in your longevity?
Okay. I would probably have to say when I went out to Ibiza when I was younger, back in like 2016, 2015, 2016. That Ibiza trip really helped me get like a worldwide view of things of like seeing girls from all over the world come down in one place and having sex with all these gorgeous women from everybody speaks a different language and have a own different type of way of doing things. And so it got me to enjoy a lot of different types of personalities that makes it easy for me to click with girls here because I'm just used to being around different types. Um, so like the Ibiza trip was just one of those eye opener trips for me. Um, I would probably say Brazzers House orgy scenes are always good. I like those. Like when I was in Palm Springs shooting Brazzers House, that was really fun. Um, let's see, I'm trying to think of like anything I've done that was extravagant. Like I just shot a feature film called "I Love You, You Fired," directed by John Angel, and that was really good because it was script heavy and a bunch of dialogue days involved. So it wasn't just like a gonzo scene. It was like a scene you had to put emotions into and effort into, and not too many directors or companies give me that type of shot where I'm in dialogue scenes. Granted, I film for a lot of gonzo companies all the time, so my schedule can be hard to fit in like a full week of like this shooting for one company, and I'm not the type that like to cancel on people. So I make it so it's like tug and pull trying to get it done. But Joanna gave me a shot, and I'm glad she did. I really enjoyed it. I hope people really appreciate the effort that went into that film from her side and mine as well. But you know, I would have to say legal porno, even though I haven't shot for them since 2016 when I went out there for about 2.5 months. The last thing we shot was a big Christmas orgy scene, and I think that was like the biggest scene I've ever been in when it was 10 girls and 8 guys.
Jeez.
And like, yeah, and that was fun. That was a lot of fun. It was like DPs going on and all types of things, and it was just like pulling out and poking in, and just like I didn't even have to like move anywhere. I would just literally have to go right and then go left and then go up and go turn around. And there was always a hole, and I was just like, this is heaven.
Yeah, that's what is it 10 girls? That's 30 holes, 30 open holes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was a Christmas special, so they was all dressed up like Christmas elves and stuff like that, and it was all cute and it was just a fun day. But yeah, that was cool. And yeah, those are like the few scenes I can think of off the back. I mean, there's always scenes I've done with like top porn girls that I really enjoyed. But in terms of this like scenes that just stick out my head right away, it's like those type of sets. Big orgy scenes and stuff like that.
I have a question. Do you prefer to do more of the scripted type stuff where you have dialogue overall, like so you can have like more of a story going into it?
Absolutely. Joanna was like my first main movie that I've done that that I had the most minds in a movie ever, like in terms of my career. I shot features before, but it wasn't like as extensive as Joanna's. And so when I shot for her film, it was like 4 or 5 days of being on set with the crew and like the way that it was set up, I really enjoyed it because it got me instead of me just being in the Gonzo film where I'm just like talking to a girl and being her boyfriend for a couple of hours, I was talking to this crew and getting to know them for a few days. So
Mhm.
at the end, we felt like a family and just like had these like cool dialogues exchanges with each other's and like got to know each other on more than just the performer level and got to know each other's personality. Like I met friends and grabbed numbers and like met buddies to meet after that. I was like, oh, this is real cool. I'm like, that's where the community part comes in and stuff like that. And it's not just about the check. So I really do enjoy scripted work because, it's just a lot of effort goes into it. And when you're around it all the time, it's just, you learn to appreciate it more.
Okay. I have a question. So, like, since we all know you do porn. What is what is Isaiah outside of porn? Like, with so you want to share outside of? Oh yeah. So I do want to say this. So Isaiah is a part. Like we play fantasy football together,
Mhm.
and like I think 2 of the years that we've been a part, he's been a part of it. He like just dominated everybody and makes it look easy, and he's won the entire thing. But outside of that, outside of kicking my behind on that, well, like what is the interest of Isaiah?
I do love sports, but I go back home in Cleveland, where I'm from, or grew up in,
Cleveland.
and I go back in Cleveland and I look at houses out there and I buy homes and rent them out to tenants and stuff like that. Kind of try to do like the Nipsey Hustle way of buying a neighborhood back.
Mhm.
So I do real estate out there. I also invest in stocks. So it's just like I keep up to date on stuff like that. I don't do crypto, but but I'm looking into it. But it's not my go-to move. But besides that, man, I'm always just reading. Like you see all these books
Yeah, I see all
about.
the books. I was trying to read a few of the titles when you were we were getting ready, but I couldn't see that far.
Yeah, man. I love to read. The national average of how many books people read a year is only like 2 to 3. So I try to stay ahead of the curve and know what I'm talking about when I'm talking. And I'm always finding new topics to explore when I'm doing that. Because if there's something I'm not doing, it's just because probably I don't know about it.
Exactly.
And I got to keep searching for the next thing to look for. But I put my money in all a bunch of investment projects and stuff like that. So when the time comes for me to stop doing all of this, I can look back and have my little nests and stuff like that and go to them when I need it.
See, I used to read a lot more until I got in my my master's degree program. And like when I hit that moment, it was like I've read too much stuff about this topic that it just killed my energy for reading stuff. And now that I'm in my doctoral program, it's like now I have to read these 30 page documents or papers, what these journals, whatever, and write only I have a page on them for this paper. And I have to do that for at least like a hundred and something, a hundred and something journals. And it's like reading stuff I would want to read is just like I'll get to it eventually, but right now it just killed my energy for reading stuff. You know.
I feel you, man. There's a couple of books that was recommended to me by friends that I had to push through. And it was just like, man, this is But I know the difference between heavy reading and light reading. So I'll open a book and I'm like, oh, this is a heavy reading type of writer, and so I'll set it down or like mix it in with a light book and something to like keep it. Cause
What's your favorite ones you've read so far?
in terms of books,
Yeah.
um, I would say How to Think and Grow Rich is a really good book.
I think I've heard of that book before.
The Life Changing of Tidying Up. You know, it's not like it's not what you think it is, but it really helped me like clear my head. Like my place is always tidy because of it and nice and clean. Um, I read a lot of books on like being black. So Black Privilege is one. The New Jim Crow is another.
I've read that one.
How Not to Get Shot by D.L. Hughley. Some of my favorite books are like Necessary Endings. That's a book that I really love. Of course, Nicola the Prince by Nicola, and one of the books that helped me tremendously, I would say the number one book that helped me tremendously in this industry was, did I give it back? I did. Oh, no, I didn't. 48 Laws of Power and The Art of War. I read both of those books and it's changed completely of how I go about this industry. So a lot of obstacles that come along my way, I can recognize what's going on right away and I can mentally switch it up into my favorite every time.
So I've never read the book you just picked up, the Power book.
Uh-huh.
The thing is, like I've read through the main points of each one,
Right,
and
right. Go ahead. Yes, right.
yeah, but I don't remember in my heart, but I've read through each one, and I agree with many of them. But I do believe that many of them do have their own flaws within them.
I agree. I don't read them to apply them. I read them to acknowledge them. So
Hmm.
after reading The Art of War, it made it crystal clear of like people I was dealing with, what their intentions were,
Yeah,
and what kind of strategy they was trying to apply on me without them knowing it's considered one of the laws of power or one of the
trickery.
yeah, you know, and so it was like, you know, history repeats itself all the time. So if you recognize what's going on, you can prevent it from going to the part where it fucks you up.
Right.
And in this case with these couple of books, you know, I'm able to just see people intentions before they even see what their intention is. And like they're not implementing any type of strategies that haven't been thought of before. And so like these books just make it easier because, you know, even if these laws or something don't apply to my life or any of these lifestyle, I meet somebody that it does. And it's just like, oh, okay, I know what you're trying to do. And like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. And it's just like, I'm glad that I can acknowledge it before it goes any further where it becomes detrimental to what I'm trying to do.
I do agree that especially the Art of War can help you be more observant of people, just in general, because like some people have some sort of agenda, and some like people are just genuinely a certain way, and
Right.
it does help you understand like if someone is in your company in order to either become or take your spot, or or is just there to encourage you and to walk beside you on your journey. And it's very interesting to build up that awareness of who you should keep and who you should keep at arm's length if they have to stay in your company.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you don't have to be paranoid or anything about it, but you know, it's just like it makes it easier to build your circle. You can just recognize genuine and you can recognize insincere, but it comes with the game, man. But yeah, reading has helped me grow as a person. And when you stop school, you got to continue to learn somehow. And reading Facebook articles or Twitter headlines and stuff like that is not the best way to consume knowledge.
Yeah, because it's like many of those have tainted views depending on people's personal beliefs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I mean,
A lot are just meant to trigger you. A lot are meant for you just to click, just to grab your attention for a second. You know, what headlines will draw attention. So that's
I,
me. I'm a publicist.
I know
You
for
write the
me,
headlines.
I know for me, when I used to read a lot, I read a lot of biographies and autobiographies. Like I'm really huge into history stuff. So I like to know as much information of random like obscure knowledge about people and
Hmm.
what they did to get on their journey. So like I can say my favorite book is the autobiography of Malcolm X, but I also enjoy different biographies of oh yeah, it right there. Love that book. So and like different ones like there's one on W.B. Du Bois, and it's like ones that I read like that. There's a few artists who I really disagree with. I mean, artists, writers that I really disagree with, but I love learning about history and how it is applied to people in this world. So yeah, so you have my favorite book and probably my second favorite book right there.
Yeah, I know I got WD Du Bois here too.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah, I like to read stuff like that. I like to read autobiographies too. Like I got Rakim's here. Um, the Awkward Thoughts of Ron Bell, comedian, Jay Z, all the guys from Shark Tank.
so I've been recently like as of like a few weeks ago, there was this book that I came across the title that I wanted to read, and it's about Napoleon because people fail to realize how Napoleon came to power. So it's like the story. That's his story and how even though he became you know he's one type of people that they always say once you get power you always want more,
Yeah,
and that was what he did, whatever. And the thing is, if people understand where he came from and then how he got to his rise, and the
right.
fact that even though they extradited him twice, they still use his principles today. And that was like, and he was in the a long time ago. So it's just interesting to say that they're still using his principles today, and he was, you know, so it was, I just like to learn stuff like that.
Right, right.
So, but yeah, but as far as the stock market though goes, I try to get into it a little bit. Like I still have my stock. The thing for me is I never know when to sell. I know CW pays attention more to his, and I know he does crypto. But I know for myself, I just own it, and I don't know when to sell it.
Well, you should look into companies that do dividends because the goal of investing is to honestly not to sell. Is
Hmm.
to grow with the company and have them be to a point where they're taking care of you for life. So like those dividends that you receive back is your payment for being loyal and just sticking with them. You could day trade and be like a profiteer like that and like sell like you gotta be on for hours and stuff like that. But long term investing is like more of my style of like putting it in companies, something you could like pass down if you want to, or and
Okay.
something that returns dividends to you. So as the company grows, your money grows, and you don't have to sell. Like how many Tesla millionaires there are right now that could just sell off for like how much they brought in when Tesla was just building rockets and like just testing, like just having like it was just a startup company. It was like it's like yeah, these guys and Tesla millionaires, they're not even extravagant with it. They get dividends and stuff like that, but they're not like living the lifestyle of a billionaire. They just have $1 million in stocks in Tesla, and you know, and they know that it's going to continue to grow. So yeah, you could cash out and like come up on a small payday, but the goal is to like set your generations up after you for life.
I know for me, there's only like three companies that I know I get an okay dividend from, but then every other company that I get dividends from, it's like pennies. It's like you got like I got an email the other day. You got 7 cent dividend from blah blah blah, and it's like okay,
I think Coca-Cola is like the best dividend giving back company. And so like those who stuck with Coca-Cola is like good. But you just gotta read the bios of like the companies you're investing in. They all will tell you why and what they give back and stuff like that. And you can see companies that are a startup that is just trying to get big enough to sell. A lot of people like stuff like that. So with investments, there's all different types of styles that can fit people's personalities. So just you got to find out which ones is yours. If you like to let your money just sit and just grow with the country, you could do index funds. It's just there's so many different ways to invest money with just trying to like sell off or being in the news of being like, oh, this guy made $100 million on Bitcoin a day. Like, you know, he invested 50 million into it to do it. So just like those headlines are big because 1 in a million do it, but for most people that invest, it's usually more long term.
yeah. I don't know. I just always been like I've only put so much money into it because I've always been just nervous about as soon as I put some money into something, it is going to crash and or the company just all of a sudden is going to fold. So I've always just been nervous about doing the entire thing, and I got into it more during the pandemic when the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic was going on, and it's just I'm just looking at it in that perspective, you know. But I've seen people who got real made a lot of money during the pandemic because of it, because they either got with the company early on and that stock rose, and or they put a lot of money into a single company, and they were able to rise up off of it.
Yeah,
So
there's a lot of ways to make money in this world. So you know, don't don't limit yourself to one way.
normally, I just I just get that little nervousness going on, like I don't know sometimes.
Money don't make no money.
I mean, no, I mean you're right. You're right. It's just that little nervous factor because you gotta make sure that you don't lose all the money that you currently have in order to make new money.
Yeah. If you want high money, you got to take high risk. This is what it is.
So, do you have any going back into the energy stuff? So, do you have anything big coming out that you want your fans or your fan base to look out for that they need to see?
Absolutely. You know, I was talking earlier about the feature I just did with Joanna Angel, which is "I Love You, You Fired," starring Vanna Bardo, and myself, and along with like Brooklyn Gray, Tommy Pisto, Quentin, and Charlotte Sims. But
Okay.
that is going to come out, and I'm looking forward to that because there's a lot of acting involved on my side, something you don't normally see. You just see me do my thing,
You
and
see your acting chops.
yeah, you usually just see me do my thing and go home. I know Alexis Tay is the cherry of the month
Oh,
for Cherry Pimps, and I shot the scene for Cherry Pimp of the Month scene, so that should be debuting this month, and that was a great scene. You know, Alexis Tay is one of the most attractive women in this business at the moment, and she is killing the game.
I agree. It was a pleasure seeing her yesterday. So it was always great. And since I've met her, she's always been sweet. Because I met her at the Urban X Awards in 2019. So
Yeah, she's definitely one of the genuine ones. Let's see, any big scenes that I've shot recently. You know, I'm shooting a lot for my OnlyFans stuff, so I'm just putting out content there consistently now. Like I'm going to meet with Alex Starr after this interview and shoot some more content with her. We shot before in like a graveyard one time. Yeah, during the COVID, during the pandemic, like nobody was outside. So I drove around the neighborhood and found like an empty graveyard, like a big graveyard that just was just empty because nobody was working there. And we found like this little sweet looking graveyard and just had sex on top of somebody's grave.
I don't know if that's disrespectful.
we made this scenario that her boyfriend died, and like he died a virgin, and he planned on losing it with her. So the best way for him to still lose it with her is to be fucked on top of his grave. Hey, you know, creativity at its best right here.
I don't know what to say to that. That's different.
But the graveyard that we did it on, it was a pretty big. It had like a sit-in area. It had it was like a gray suite. And so we probably didn't do it directly on this grave, but we was in his grave suite. So.
The person is like in the afterlife looking down like, are these mothers really?
You put a blanket out.
So you laid a blanket on a sleeping person, and this was like, yeah.
Act like I nutted on the grass and it sunk down and went into the casket, like, you know, dripped on his forehead. Nah, man, it was just.
Oh God.
Just having fun.
Oh God.
You know, see the life that I'm playing.
Things you can get creative with on OnlyFans. Wow.
Yeah, it's like
but there's worse things people have done on OnlyFans.
Well, yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff out there now. So yeah, mine's very tame compared to a lot of the others. But you know, I got to keep it interesting by keep pumping out new content here and there.
I feel you because I mean, like especially during the start of the pandemic, like I don't know, like how was it for you at the start of the pandemic, and now we're finally getting out of it.
In the beginning, it was just a lot of like, who do I want to be during the pandemic? So, one of the things that was said was like, what you got to watch for when you come out the pandemic is alcoholics and drug abusers, because everybody's going to be drinking and smoking, and so you're going to have people coming out the pandemic that's in that rhythm now and lost the rhythm of being productive. So when I heard that, I kind of just stopped drinking right there and then, and I started jogging every day and just started exercising and like kind of try to stay ahead of the curve, so when we do start working, I would be like conditioned to go. And that helped me out a lot. And then when it started to go up again, it wasn't that long for me, to be honest. Like I was working with a couple of companies that needed work pretty fast. And so we shot like probably a month after the shutdown when there was absolutely nobody shooting. And like we had like a real control setting, and like it was only like a few of us, and we all had our COVID tests. And we were just making sure that we were just making money still. So I didn't really lose out on too much money on the pandemic side. It was just I was working with everybody that was able to work, and because I was like more of the responsible guys in the industry, I just got like first dibs on the jobs.
Okay.
That I wouldn't be out at no party catching COVID while it was still running.
Well, And this is another just like, you don't go to parties like that.
Oh man.
Honestly, I've told someone this before. I'm like, if I see Isaiah at a party, it's a rarity. I think I've literally seen you probably like, and this is regular. This is not work shows. I think I've of all the parties that I've been to since you've been in the industry, I think it's probably five, and that is since like you came around what 2012.
Yeah, 2011,
Yeah.
August
So,
1st, 2011.
so yeah, I think I've seen you at five like non-award show parties that I've been to, and that's 10 years.
Yeah, man.
So it's
I,
like it's like
I pick,
Isaiah's out. What?
yeah, I pick and choose my parties very carefully. And I pick and choose it very carefully. I usually always come with somebody just so like I don't end up like
Leaving and
leaving at 5, 6 in the morning, trying to find somebody to go home with. And I don't know, man. Usually I have to work the next day. So that's the reason why I'm not at the party. Is just because I gotta wake up and
oh
go
no,
to.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying
No,
like
I'm just saying that's my reason for not being there. It's just I like to go out and have fun. It's the recovery process that is like the reason I can't do it. I'm like
mhm.
sometimes it'll take a day or two for me to recover from being out all night, and like if you gotta be on set and like be effective, you can't do that. So
That makes
yeah,
sense.
that's why I get calls in the morning from directors like, "Hey, are you available to shoot today?" Because they know that I don't usually go hard the night before. I'm sure somebody called and canceled today because they went too hard the night before. But
Hmm.
so that's how I get a lot of my jobs too. It's just knowing that everybody's going to be at this party and not everybody is going to be able to get up and be 100% the next day. So I just wake up.
Especially yesterday because it was the 4th of July or whatever. So everybody just you know partied hard yesterday.
Absolutely. So, I mean, smart directors usually don't book scenes the next day after a holiday, but a
Some
lot of
do.
companies do. And for those that do, they look for the people that don't really go to the parties. And so I got to make sure I'm in that class of consideration.
Because I know, and this is someone else, but I know that they always say like they know if someone cancels that person is ready to go if they're available. So it's like you have that rapport with people because they know like if someone cancels and you're available, like you're always down to do a scene, and you do. And as I was telling someone yesterday, like I've never heard anybody say anything negative about you. So it just means that like you have that good repertoire with your fellow
Colleagues. It's
colleagues.
just,
Yeah.
it's just, I know how to secure a booking.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is like, I know how to fill my schedule up and I know how to give them the security that I'll be there. Like I don't come to set hungover or eat. I don't come to set high, and
And you don't get high while you're on set.
yeah, and I don't get high while I'm on set. It's just it comes with it gives everybody the professionalism that they want when they shoot a scene,
Hmm.
and I believe every company deserves that. So I just take it, but I secure my bookings and that's just those are the tricks and trades. If everybody is out partying, not everybody could work the next day. I mean, I remember trying to do that with Burger King. That shit was tough. I would like get off a party at like 4 in the morning and sleep over my friends that live around the corner from Burger King for like 30 minutes and wake up to go to a 5 a.m. shift, clean up for 6 a.m. opening. And I would be hungover, drunk, trying to pour people's coffee, about to puke in it. And I'm talking to my managers, like, can you send me home? And they're like, no, we need you here. I'm like, I'm drunk. And they're like, we don't care. So, so yeah, I can't do that anymore. I'm not going to try to.
Like see, I've never like as like I've always had to work the night shift. So it at least allowed me to, except for I worked at McDonald's, but like it always allowed me to, rest my. I used to drink back in the day. I don't do it anymore, but when I drank, it was just like, ugh, I'm gonna get messed up. Otherwise, I wouldn't book a weekend shift for when I used to drink. So
I used to, I
say
used to
no too. Can't do that no more. You got
no responsibility on myself. I was just like, I would do close shift, go to a club, and do open shift the next day just because I needed the afternoon to myself, and I just made sure I got there on time. So having early appointments has never been an issue for me because even when I went to high school, I had to wake up at the same time my dad did because he was a school bus driver. So I would get dropped
oh
off
wow.
very early in the morning and would just have to like sit at my school 2 hours before they open and figure out what to do with myself.
See,
And luckily,
I'm a night owl, so like if I had to go to school that early, I just wouldn't be able to function the entire day.
oh man, yeah, I'm not that much of a night owl anymore. If my scenes are after midnight and they want me to have sex after that, I'm just like, you get what you get because my body is usually asleep. I'm like, my body is asleep. I'm like, I remember I got to set at like 8 a.m. and it was like, yeah, don't think about pulling your dick out to midnight. I was like, why am I here? I was like, I could do a whole day worth of stuff. Why am I here? And they were just wanting to talk. And I was just like, man, that midnight, I was just like, yeah, you get what you get. This is the time I'm asleep. My dogs needed to be let out twice by now. I'm like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
It was another time I had to fuck in the alley that was like over 100 degrees at 4 in the morning.
Jesus
It was
Christ.
over 100 degrees at 4 in the morning. And I was too hot. It was too hot for me to
Was
even
that
get
in
hard.
Vegas? Or
No, LA, downtown LA out.
oh my god.
104 degrees. And from the lights and being in the alley and being in that trapped heat and having 20-pound wings on your back. It was just too much. I was just like, we made it look
They have you doing a lot to, in one thing.
yeah, it came out artistic, but in terms of functionality, mine's subpar that day.
I feel that. But we have reached the end. But so tell everybody where can they find you? Where can they support you? Where can they get all things Isiah?
Well, you can find me definitely on OnlyFans. You can see most of my home stuff from there and get to know me on the personal side. I'll reply to all my DMs. That's OnlyFans/Isiah Maxwell or OnlyFans.com/Isiah Maxwell. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. My Twitter is Isiah Maxwell, and my Instagram is Isiah_Maxwell. Isiah is ISIAH.
One second. I don't know what happened. Anyway, yeah, if y'all want to find us, we are the Burbank Misfits on Isaiah's
Yeah, I'm dog sitting right now, so I got little ones with me and stuff like that. Got my little two over here, so they're just doing their little thing. This one is a little loud one.
someone keeps trying to like my landlord over here keeps trying to get me to get an animal.
Yeah.
I keep having raccoons.
You said 4.
Hold on one second. Animals keep trying to jump into my backyard. So yeah. Anyway, you want to find us? We are the Burbank Memphis on Instagram, Burbank Memphis on Twitter, and every other platform. Isiah, Mr. Maxwell. Oh, you want to find me? I'm Rawstar on all things RAWSCARR. CT Fitness is his name. I'm guessing someone walked into his gym just now. But if you want to find us, please check us out. But make sure you go out and find everything that Mr. White Maxwell is doing. He's a very brilliant man, as you've seen during this podcast. Very dedicated performer. Very, 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 very respected, and as his accolades speak for themselves for all things Mr. Maxwell. So thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it. And I wish you so much greatness in all the future things that you do because I've been cheering you on ever since I heard that you started doing what you was doing.
That's love, man. Yeah, I appreciate you always, man. I always know you was in my corner, so that's
Always and always shall be.
yes, sir. Appreciate you like no other.
All right, no doubt. Same to you. All
All
right,
right.
we'll see
I
y'all
can
next week.
return. I can return this year to fantasy to dominate again. You know, I had to take my Michael Jordan break.
Last year, last year, I didn't even really want to do it. It was a big thing that we started it, we posted it up. I think some people actually did participate in it, and some people didn't. And I just wasn't feeling last year at all, and it sucks because the year I wasn't feeling it, my favorite football team went so far, and the playoffs. I'm
Don't worry,
like,
man. Don't worry. Cleveland Browns will be there next year.
you know, the Browns got cheated during that second to last game when y'all played against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Y'all got cheated during that game, and I'm like, because
Yeah.
I remember I texted you like, what?
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity, though, man. We should have been in the Super Bowl. We would have went to the Super Bowl if we would have won that
I mean, I don't think y'all would have won the Super Bowl because y'all would have had to play against us, but you know, you know,
game.
you was,
What
huh?
happened to us? Yeah. Did y'all go somewhere?
We were in the finals, not in the AFC finals. We
Yeah.
lost to the
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Yeah. You know, y'all would have lost.
Not against the Browns. We were prepared for we should have beat the Chiefs.
All right, man. All right.
We'll talk this year when Diggs is just running down everybody. So
All right, man. Ross Star, you be easy. CW, man. Get some water in your system. And y'all have a good one.
we'll see y'all next week.